Good morning, YouTubers. It's your girl Leela again. And this morning I just want to talk about my mom, my biological mother, Betty Sharon Ezel Wyford. Yes. I want to speak about my mom this morning. I just want to tell y'all that when my mother had me back in 87. Her and my father were married at that time, but from what I understand that they were filing for divorce. My mother was going to come down to North Carolina and start a new life with her best friend Patty. Well, that didn't happen. She had planned a good life. She planned to get away from my father, but that did not happen. I'm going to tell y'all the story that was told to me from when I was a little girl until I was 31. I just found out this past January the truth of what happened to my mom. Okay, so it was March. Well, they pulled the plug on her on the 16th. So I guess I want to back it up 3 days. So this was March 13th of 1988. They told me that two men had broken into my mother's home and was trying to steal her disability check. And they killed her. They told me that it happened in the bathroom, that the two men beat her until she was bleeding from her nose and her mouth and her ears. I'm sorry, I don't know why I pointed to that, but whatever. We're only human after all. Well, anyways, so they fucked her up, man. Like, this is what they told me my whole life, that my mom was murdered, that these fucking two guys came in and they fucking killed her with me in the crib and my brother in his high chair. Well, this past January, I went and saw my uncle because he was not doing too well. He was sick, and I just wanted to see him because I haven't seen him in years, and I just wanted to see him in case he passed away. So I went down there and I was visiting with him. And he was like, "Do you want to know the truth?" And I'm like, "The truth about what?" And he goes, "The truth about your mom." And I'm intrigued. I'm like, "Yeah, yes, absolutely. I want to know the truth." And we're standing in the kitchen. He's like, "Don't even tell me to sit down." Like, we're standing in the kitchen in North Carolina. And he's like, "Your mother wasn't murdered. Your mother got some bad dope." And she shot up in the kitchen. And when she shot up in the kitchen, she hit her head hard on the sink. And when the neighbor came from next door, because they were supposed to be playing cards, my mother and the next door neighbor, and she was bleeding from her nose and her mouth and her ears. And so they called the paramedics and they came and got her and stuff. And I guess called my grandmother that was living in Virginia. So it was about a 4-hour drive. And my mother stayed in a coma for 3 days and until they took her off of life support. But I spent my whole life thinking that these two bad guys, these two monsters, came into my home and took my mother from me. Like, I was devastated about that. Like, I spent my whole life thinking, my brother did too. My brother just died in fucking 2012. So he went to the grave thinking that our mother was murdered. Just the thought, yo. He died thinking that our mom was murdered by these monstrous men that didn't exist. It's fucked up. And then my uncle was telling me how my dad got my mom hooked on dope. How, like, my dad was, like, this go-to guy. Like, everybody was around him. He had a lot of friends and shit. And he partied and hung around a lot of young girls. And I never knew my dad neither. So I can't vouch for him. I can't speak up for him because I don't know him. But in case y'all wondering what happened to my dad, my father committed suicide, and they didn't find him till a couple of days later. My dad went and he made voice recordings, and he sent out his suicide tapes, and he went ahead and shot himself in the head back in 1999, February 10th of 1999. I actually didn't find out that until I was about 15, and we were looking for my father for placement because I was in foster care, and I wanted to be with some family. I got tired of being moved around to people that didn't really give a fuck about me. And a social worker came in there, and my foster mom knew first, and then they sat me down in the kitchen to tell me what happened to my dad, that the search was over, that he was dead too. Yeah. But I just think that is fucked up, you know what I'm saying? I went my whole life thinking that my mother was murdered when, she OD'd. I mean, no matter what, she's gone. She couldn't spend time with me even if she wanted to. But, it would have been better if I would have known the facts. It would have been a lot better if they would have just been up and honest with me. Like, I already had a rough start, you know what I'm saying? Like, why lie? And then when you find out the truth, it's like, fuck, So, yeah, my mom OD'd and my dad committed suicide. And that's tough, man. It's tough. I found my sisters later on in life that my father had a sister before me, and I got a sister that's younger than me. And we don't have no relationship, not for real. Whatever's on Facebook, but I don't know. I feel like Facebook and YouTube and all this shit is fucking imaginary. Like, this shit's not real. You know what I'm saying? Like, this right here, this is what's real. Like, me making this tape and nobody, like, responding back to me. Like, this shit don't feel real. But, yeah. So, that's what happened to my parents, man. And I guess that's why I'm so... Well, I can't say that because I've always been against drugs. Like, I knew when I was a young child that me and my brother was a heroin-addicted babies. Like, we know that. I know that. I get that. I understand that. But I guess that's why I never wanted to try dope. I mean, I seen my whole family on it, and they're like fucking zombies. Like, who wants that? Not me. But, yeah. That's the beginning of my life. It's my mother ODing in the kitchen. And my grandmother coming to get me from Virginia. And she took me and my brother from Baltimore. And we lived with her until we was 5 years old. And she passed away when she was 76 of lung cancer. Yeah. I remember her fucking funeral, dude. Like, I was 5 years old. I was little. And my brother was already in prison. And a couple of my cousins were in prison, too. And at that time, the inmates were allowed to come out in their shackles and, with guards and shit. And it was my brother John and my cousin David and my cousin Eugene. They were all there in shackles. And they were visiting our grandmother, and it's just so sad because at that time they were so young, John, Dave, and Kevin, and Eugene. They were all so young, and the judge gave them like the maximum sentences, and like my brother did fucking 17 years. Kevin, he did like 15 years. Eugene did over 18 years. Like they did maximum sentences at fucking young ages. And it's all like, dude, they didn't even get a chance to be fucking kids to fuck up, because once they fucked up, y'all fucking buried them in the system. Which is the fucking truth. I'm not trying to sit here and say, oh, they just deserved a slap on the wrist. No, they didn't deserve a slap on the wrist. But for fucking petty ass crimes like fucking assault and battery and shit, that's kids fighting one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could understand if it was like murder, but They didn't do no shit like that. I will say that my whole fucking family had a rough, yo. Like, everybody family got a rough, yo. They do. I see that. I understand that now. But how can we turn it to make it better? You know what I'm saying? Like my cousins, my brother, they're in jail right now. Like, their cycle landed them in jail. Like, it was like every time they got out of jail and they did what they were supposed to, they got off of probation or whatever, something would always land them back here. Like, I hate to say it, but jail ain't free, motherfucker. You gotta pay for that shit. And then when you go to the classes and shit, you gotta pay for that. And you have kids and you still gotta pay for your kids and you gotta pay for your classes. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that these people deserve a pass because they had it hard. No. But some people don't understand the struggle that they had to get to where they are. Like, my cousin's family and shit, their fucking parents are crackheads. Like, maybe if they would have had a better opportunity to be better people, they would have. But, I mean, it was already fucking hard for us growing up. Let's be real. Like, I remember it being young, and it was a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? Struggling to eat, making sure that we ate. And what about if the fucking electricity was off or we didn't have gas and it was in winter? I remember all of us huddled together, trying to get body heat to stay fucking warm in the winter. Why? Because they done fucking smoked up the fucking food stamps and crack. That's the fucking truth, man. Y'all want some real shit? This is some real fucking shit, man. Like, fuck, dude. These kids, you put these kids in these fucking strung out situations. And what happened? What? Dave got caught stealing? What was he stealing? Was he stealing food? Was he stealing clothes to put on his ass? Some people got it so good. They never had to struggle. I had to struggle as a kid. I made sure my children didn't have to go through that shit. Yeah, we had some hard fucking times, but they never went hungry. It won't like I was on the street corner fucking trying to fucking trick to make $1. No, that was not our life. I fucking prevented that. You know what I'm saying? And for the inevitable, look at me stumbling over my words. You know what the fuck I mean. But for the shit to happen the way that it did anyways, maybe like somehow this is fucking fate. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it to you guys. Like, how was I in foster care and my children are in foster care? Like, this shit doesn't make fucking sense to me. You know? Anyways, I'm sitting here supposed to be talking about, you know, my parents and shit. Well, I just want to say that my fucking family lied to me about what happened to my mother. They told me my whole life that she was murdered when she OD'd and my father committed suicide. Yeah, and it's kind of fucked up because, look, I was like 10 years old. I just had my 10th birthday. And I remember him calling me in Baltimore when I was living with my aunt. My family moved around a lot, and, well, me and my brother, I can't say me and my family because it wasn't all of us. It was just me and him most of the time until they put him in foster care. And then after that, about a year and a half later, they put me in foster care. And at that time, I felt like it was the best thing to happen to me, to happen to us. I mean, we was going through a lot of abuse and shit at the time. I remember one time I didn't wash a fork properly, and my aunt beat the shit out of me. Like, there was like a little food left in the corner of the fork. It's disgusting when you think about it now. But look, I was 12, okay? And she fucking beat the shit out of me for not washing a fork right. Yeah. I mean, we had it rough, man. But anyways, I ain't gonna take too much of y'all's time. Thanks for listening to another sob-ass story from me. Hopefully these fucking videos will blow up and somebody will take some interest in them and maybe give me a shout out of what I can do to change my fate, to change my future. Because I ain't trying to be 6 feet under and nobody giving a fuck about me. And that's the truth. It's like I want to do something for my kids and social services, but I can't because I don't know where to begin. All right, thank you guys. Have a blessed day. Bye.